It's Liz and I talking this time about the passing of her mother. Liz, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But we will discuss, and then you will know how I actually feel about certain things. But I
Right.
have to apologize for keeping you waiting. Someone called me and we were having a bit of an argy-bargy about Ukraine. Because I was saying to him, because he's saying, "Oh, those poor innocent people in Ukraine," and I'm saying, "Well, if they're corrupt and they've put all their bioweapons factories in the middle of civilian dwellings, what do you expect them to do? Would you prefer that Putin's innocent people die, or that the Ukrainian innocent people die as a consequence of what their government does?" So whatever, but feelings and emotions, and
Mm,
you can't sort of like live life on feelings and emotions. You got to do the right thing.
yes.
So that's where we were anyway. So
Mm,
he agreed to disagree, but
yes. Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So how do we proceed? You can
Well,
ask
you
me the
can tell us
questions and I'll answer them.
So your mother passed away today, was
hmm
it?
I think yesterday.
Yesterday.
But my brother called me this morning. I was on my way from the gym, and he called
Mhm.
me to tell me.
Right.
But I knew, I think it was not Sunday gone, the one previous, my sister in San Francisco contacted me and she said what she said.
Was
And
she was your mother ill? Did you or was it a sudden departure?
I think, do we need to go into the details?
Well,
I
I
think,
suppose for people, sudden departures are more painful than.
all right. So Facebook will probably kick me. I mean, YouTube, Facebook will probably kick me off if I say what I think. But she, from what I understand, it was cancer in the lungs, and based on what I understand about human nature and their resilience, I knew that she wasn't going to last long. I didn't expect it to be this sudden. I didn't expect it to happen so quickly.
Oh yes, I think you did mention a while
True.
back that your mother did have had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did say that.
But it
Yeah.
came back very suddenly and very quickly, and it is what it is.
I think it is the nature of lung cancer that it can come back and it can be
But
devastating and
that wasn't what it was, though. It
oh,
wasn't that.
but it was
But
sudden.
yeah.
Hmm.
But you see, what I want to discuss is the reaction, because in the media, on Twitter, social media, you see people and they will come, and I think they do it for attention personally. And I may judge them harshly, but they come and it's, "I'm devastated. This person has died." And it's like, why are you devastated? You didn't die. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, it's not about you. It's about the person. And if, like, for me, if you have an understanding of life and death, and we're gonna go into this deeply, then you will know that from the beginning of time, that's what people do. You're born, you live, and then you die. Death is a part of the process of life,
Yes, we
right?
can't
So
say we weren't warned.
no, but the thing is, it's been going on from the dawning of time.
Hmm.
You're born, you live, and you die. That's what happens. But the idea that people, like I said, I think a lot of it is attention seeking, the way people respond. So I can go back to 1992 when my sister died, my younger sister, right? And
May I know
right,
what happened?
well, I'll go into that slightly. All right, so we have a tradition. This is me with my dark sense of humor. We have a tradition of a heart condition within the family. So, like my older sister, me, and my younger sister all had some procedure for some heart defect.
Hmm.
So she had, like, hers was worse. So she had like an artificial valve. And the last time I personally went with her to the hospital, you used to have to go for regular blood tests because she had the artificial valve, so she had to have regular blood tests, and she was taking warfarin and all of that to regulate the blood.
Mm-hmm.
So then they said that her heart was only working 30%. So then you know that at some point she's going to die, basically. But then the way it happened, I didn't expect it to happen like that. She went to bed and she died. I thought she was going to get sick, maybe have to go to hospital and whatever. So that kind of like was surprise. So that's like what, 1992. So we're looking at what, 30 years ago. Yeah, 30 years ago this year. So then you kind of think, because you know I'm into, I've said this, health, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. So personal development. So 30 years ago, 30 years later, I shouldn't be in the same position that I was 30 years ago. So I shouldn't have the same reaction. This is what I mean, because that my understanding should have developed. So I shouldn't have the same reaction, which is what you see. You see this with people.
To death, you mean?
Yes, because I should have an understanding of it. Understanding should have developed. This is what I mean. So in this situation, I knew that death was going to come quickly, but I didn't expect it to come this quickly, because with some people, they have a fighting spirit, and it's like, right, so death, you think you're gonna get me? Good luck to you, and they will survive. Whereas other people will be like, death, take me, right? So they don't have fighting skills or whatever. They just think, right, I've been diagnosed and I'm gonna die, and they die quickly. And I knew that that is what was gonna happen, because it depends on the mentality of the person you're dealing with. Right. So then, so the person dies. What are you supposed to do? Are you God? Can you bring them back? So with all this emotional reaction, what use is it? If you think about it, what use are emotional reactions? And people might say you're cold, you're heartless, and whatever. But the way I deal with things, I process things and I deal with them in a practical way. So I think, all right, death, as I understand it, you're going to a better place. Why wouldn't you be glad for somebody to go to a better place? So it's a bit like you got people and they got their relatives and they're as old as the hills and they got Alzheimer's and they don't know their name, they don't know anybody. And they, it's a bit like with the Queen, where people, she's got COVID or something, and it's like they're praying for her to stay alive. And the woman's 95 going on 96. How long do you want her to live for? That's what happened. You get old and then you die. You know, so it's this unnatural mentality, immature mentality that, you know, people have been dying from the beginning of time. Like I said, you're supposed to get used to it by now and understand it. It's not like that you're glad that people die or anything, but you're supposed to understand the process.
Do you
that
wish
it's
you'd
a
seen
part
your
of
mother?
life.
Do you
No,
wish you'd seen your mother before she?
no,
When was the last time you saw her?
in the summer, towards the end of summer. And the reason I say that is because that's what people do. They have regrets. I don't have any regrets, because what you do, you live and things happen. That would be like you say goodbye to somebody and next thing you hear they got hit by a bus. How many regrets are you going to have?
Well,
That's what
you shouldn't,
happens.
because you know, at least you saw
Yeah,
them. But you know, I
yeah.
guess with
But it's not a
parents and
question
things.
about, it's not a question about whether you see somebody. I have friends that I've not seen for years, but we talk on the phone. You
When
know what
was
I
the
mean?
last time you spoke to your mother on the phone?
It would be last summer,
Right.
because of certain things. Obviously, I'm stuck here looking after my sister, and my thing is that she is, it's not so much that she needs to get better, but there's a lot of negative energy around where people have, sort of like flapping about, oh, I'm so worried, I'm so concerned, that kind of attitude, which is not helpful. And so what I did was I switched the phones off to avoid that. The reason being, I am the one who is left here by myself. Nobody is helping us. So why do I need to deal with that type of energy coming from people? Give her my love. How do you give somebody that your love? I've also said that in the last stream we did. How do you give somebody else's love? If you want to give them your love, you come and give it to them yourself. You find a way of expressing it. Why are you asking me? And I've already got enough to do to pass on your love because you're too lazy or you're too selfish to do something. Right? So to make sure that I didn't have the wrong kind of energy coming in, I switched the phones off. And
So you didn't have to deal with
switched. Yeah, so I didn't have to deal with all that nonsense.
With what? Condolences for your mother?
No. I'm talking. No, keep up. I'm talking about like with my sister. All you see, because this is the joke. So people are gonna get in touch with me and tell me, "Oh, I'm really sorry." But the whole time, nearly 2 years I've been here with my sister, people have largely ignored us. So they don't care about the living. That's what people do. They don't, the saying about they don't give flowers to the living. They wait until they're dead to give them flowers. That kind of thing, right? So it's sort of like you see. So mostly for the last 2 years, almost 2 years, they've ignored us. But now they want to come and say, "I'm really sorry." And it's like, are you having a laugh?
Using that as an occasion to get in
No,
touch.
no. It's what people do. It's not, no. It's nothing to do with that. It's what people do. It's what they do. I'm sorry for your loss. And it's like, what about, aren't you sorry that I'm in this situation? Did I say to you that it was my landlord's sister who went round to the flat? Remember I said I hadn't been there for a year? She went round and sorted out my stuff, took my clothes and my shoes back to her place so they didn't get ruined. And the landlord's looking after my saxophone and my musical paraphernalia and all of that, because he's a musician, he plays the guitar. Right. So between the landlord and his sister, imagine these are just people, business arrangement type people. Between the landlord and his sister, they are the ones who sorted out the flat, because these people are going to be sending condolences and I'm so sorry. Where were they? I was talking to one of my sister's friends today, ex-work colleague, and she's telling me they're talking rubbish about me, the ex-colleague. We were her friends, we used to work with her, and if she can't look after her, she should put her in, get professionals to look after her where she can get all the care she can need. Did my sister tell anybody that she wants to go into residential care? Who are these people? They don't know the first thing, and it's typical, right? This is why so many people that you talk to the carers, all these old people, they don't have anybody, even though they got relatives who are relatively nearby. They're so selfish, they just dump them into the care of the carers, and they don't bother, right? So it's sort of like that kind of mentality they're coming with. First of all, my sister has all of her faculties. She doesn't wish to live in residential care, and I am probably the only person who allows her to have her free will. So I don't say to her, "Here's your dinner." I ask her, "What would you like for dinner?" I allow her, she's sitting over there nodding, I allow her to have her free will. And I've got these nondescript people, ex-work colleagues who claim to be friends, talking garbage that they don't know what the situation is. I can't handle it. I should let professionals look after her. If she was being looked after by the professionals, I can tell you for nothing, she'd be dead already. And she will agree with me. She's over there nodding, right? And as well, mother can go to the next world knowing that she's not going to go into a care home. Because mother worked in care homes, right? And she knows what they're like. And she did not, she said, "Over my dead body, is she going to go in a care home?" Right? So while they're talking their nonsense, they've not done anything. If they were such good friends, they could have put £5 in a card or something or they could have worked out a schedule where they can take time to come and sit with her or something. They haven't done that because it's easier, these selfish people, to cast stones. It's easier for them to do it. And this is something I noticed, to alleviate their guilt or whatever it is, that it's easier to blame the one person who's basically chucked my life down the toilet and been here sleeping on the sofa from where I'm talking to you right now, and pitched up working in the living room. They don't know what the situation is, but I'm telling you, when I get back in media, right, that is when I'm going to talk. Right? I don't need to call names, because people will say, hang on a minute, so she said nobody helped. Didn't you help? You said that you are a friend. Right? This is where the embarrassment factor will come out, because if you really wanted to help, you would have helped. You wouldn't be there blaming. You don't know what the situation is, and you're claiming that I'm not in a position to cope. I am very much in a position to cope, but two factors exist: money and time. If they were all pitching in and helping, I would have more time, because I wouldn't have to be working so many hours. Right? That is
Yeah.
the situation. But they've not done that. They've not contributed 1 pence. They've not done anything to show this friendship or this love or whatever they profess. Done nothing, but they're criticizing, and they've never set foot in the flat to know what's going on or how we're managing. They're upset because I haven't been responding to their stupid messages. They're stupid. Oh, tell her I'm worried about her. Give her my love type messages. What kind of messages are those? What are they supposed to do? You're just wasting my time, because if I'm busy and I've got things to do, I don't have time to be responding to messages. And so they take umbrage over things like that and talking rubbish about me. And I don't know these people.
So what, they're not your relations?
No, these people, ex-work colleagues. That's what I'm saying. This is
How would they
people.
know your mother?
No, Gloria, my sister's ex-work colleagues. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, right.
One of her ex-colleagues' friend, one who actually came here and helped me to move some stuff around and do some cleaning. That's what she's saying. I said they don't know anything, but they're running their mouths. They know nothing. They've not offered to help in any way, shape, or form, but they're playing the friend card. I'm her friend. And so that gives them some status. What have you done to prove your friendship? Nothing. You haven't done anything to prove that you are a friend. I can go to my friends, and any one of my friends, if I ask them something, no problem. My friends have done more for this situation than any of her friends have done. And they're the ones claiming friendship. My friends don't play the friendship card. They don't need to do that. But they are few and far between. I don't have that many friends, but the ones I have are decent.
Yes. So why didn't you get on with your? I mean, so you don't particularly regret not having spoken to your mother for so long?
No, because I am not a hypocrite. You see, this is what people do in hindsight. Oh, I wish I'd done this and I wish I'd done that. I do what I'm supposed to do. And in fact, the thing is, I didn't have contact with her for 10 or 12 years. And you see, so this is the thing. When you don't have any guilt, you can contact people whenever you like. So I was able to contact her to let her know that her daughter isn't well. And then I had two of them communicating. But then it became a slight problem, and my sister didn't really want her to come and visit or to even talk to her on the phone, because she was fussing too much. But I was keeping that going for a while. You see what I mean? So it wasn't necessarily me. I was actually keeping it going. I was saying, this isn't like a good look for you not to. You see, but it was just the whole. All right, my focus was on recovery, whereas some people focus on sickness. Now, I don't put my trust in the medical profession as mother does. I put my trust in God. Do
Mm-hmm.
you understand? I
I
don't
don't, I
put,
don't know what this means in practice.
in practice, God can do anything. If you believe God can do anything, right? So I am very healthy. If I get sick, I am sick for a day or two. But I don't need to see a doctor about it. If I need to go to the doctor, I have failed. That I view that as failure on my part. But like somebody like mother, it's like the doctor is God. You understand? It puts her trust in the doctor. I view if I need to go and talk to a doctor as failure. And I've
Mm-hmm.
got my health to prove it. I have my health to prove that doctor isn't my God. So basically, I had to pass that mindset on to my sister because she was dealing with the doctors. And then you get the letter, oh, there's not a lot we can do. Recovery isn't common.
Mm-hmm.
So, leaning on inspiration, whatever inspiration I got from God, I applied that. So, like when she came back from the hospital, her head was shaking, her right hand was shaking, and the inspiration was to feed her turmeric, just raw turmeric. So I'd peel it and give it to her in large amounts. Shaking stopped. She wasn't able to use her right hand. Now she's using the right hand to feed herself, and her condition is degenerative. So it's not supposed to get better, it's supposed to get worse. But I don't believe in that. I believe in you're either alive or you're dead. And I don't believe in being halfway. I don't see the point. So it's either, it's either she's going to die or she's going to get better, one or the other. But in the meantime, I'm here and my life's going down the toilet. So it's like, you know, come on, God, decide what you're going to do. That is how I look at things. And she's getting better. You see what I mean? She couldn't use the right hand. Now she's using the right hand to feed herself, no problem. And she's sitting over there listening. So that's where I come from. So I go back and I say, if in 30 years, my sister died 1992, 30 years later, mother dies. If in 30 years I'm still at that point where I haven't grasped the concept of life and death, then there's something wrong with me. Your understanding is supposed to develop. If I don't understand that death is a part of life, then there's something wrong with me. So this is why I'm not here weeping and wailing and having regrets, because I understand the purpose of life. So you can ask me a question if you like. I can't keep talking. You gotta say something.
Yes. So, uh, well, I'm afraid um, I hadn't listened to, didn't hear what you just said.
You weren't listening. Shame
I
on you. I
well,
said the last thing I said was in 30 years, if my understanding hasn't developed, then there's something wrong with me.
so
If I'm
you
still at the
regard
same level 30 years later and I still got the same attitude to life and death, there is something seriously wrong with me. Because
well,
as human beings, we're supposed to develop and our understanding is supposed to grow.
you obviously have a different attitude towards the death of your sister in 1962 to your.
No, no, I don't. Because I know of people who have died and my reaction is the same. That's what people don't understand. If it was somebody else, my reaction would be exactly the same. That's what people don't get this. It would be the same. I know of people who've died, even from, during the lockdown and whatever, same reaction. Death is a
Mhm.
part of the process of life. And what you're gonna do? Sit here weeping and wailing and being depressed and suicidal and all of that because somebody died. It is part of the process. So you have to come to a certain understanding. That is what happens when it's your time to go. You go.
Well, I suppose now that what
So
would
you see
take
what I mean?
place
So,
is the
but people,
mourning process.
yeah, but no, but the thing is, you don't even need to. Well, I can speak for myself, and this is what I'm saying about development. People would look at it as you're cold and this, and it's nothing to do with that. It's development. It is development where you overcome your feelings and emotions. Because in this society, they're encouraging people that it's okay to not be okay. What kind of garbage is that? It's okay to not be okay. That means you're going to burden other people because you're not okay, rather than developing yourself to the extent where you can stand on your own 2 feet. Can you imagine me tonight, like loads of people coming around, and with the two of us in here devastated, and loads of people having to give up their Wednesday evening to come here and console us? I've been to people's houses where that is the scenario. The house is full of people and is weeping and wailing, and that is what's going on.
Right.
And years later, they still haven't gotten over it. They still haven't crossed the thing. They still whatever.
Well, will there be visitors to
No,
it?
no, because we're not wired like that. I mean, like with my sister, if people want to come round and see her, no problem. But me personally, I'm all right. And people think, oh, that's because it's your mother. It is not. It could be anybody. I'm telling you, it could be anybody. The reaction would be the same, because I understand that there is a time for you to be born, a time for you to live, and a time for you to die. And that's it.
You
I
won't.
understand that as a process.
Yes, but I suppose the thing is that you were not getting on with your mother.
It's nothing to do with that. That's the whole point. And it's not a question of not getting on, because I don't have any animosity. The way I deal with people, people don't understand this. They don't have this understanding, because you need to have some level of understanding to get where I'm coming from. I have no animosity. All I know is that you're not good for my life, and I won't have anything to do with you. It doesn't mean that I hate you or anything. It's just that I don't want you in my life, because you're going to be a liability. It's a bit
So
like somebody.
did you
It's like
cut your did you basically cut your mother out of your life? Is that what happened? Is that,
yes,
mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
And,
Because
you're saying you have no regrets.
no, because the thing is, family doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. Anytime I get involved with family, my life goes down the toilet. It doesn't work, right? So it's like you come to a point and you have to realize, well, you have to do things smarter. It's a bit like, I watched a video last night, and it's some woman who was going out with some, I wouldn't even call him an artist or a musician, because it's a no talent person. And he just kept beating her up and beating her up and saying, I'm sorry, beating her up, I'm sorry, beating her up, nearly killed her, I'm sorry, that kind of thing, right? And it's
Hmm.
like, at what point are you going to realize this person is no good? You see what I mean? At what point do you realize? So me,
So
I like a simple life. So it's like, all right, so guess what? If I'm in a position and any of them need help, I will help them. But I will do it from a distance. I don't hate anybody. I hate nobody. It's just that it's about self-preservation,
will
right?
you be attending the funeral of your mother?
No. And I made that decision last week. The reason I make that is because
You,
I'm not a hypocrite. And I know there's going to be a lot of hypocrisy. And I'm not the kind of person who's going to keep a lid on it. And we don't
would
really
your
want a scene.
would your sister like to attend the funeral of her mother?
Whether she would like to or not, she's going. That's the only time I'm going to interfere with her free will. And whether or not anybody would have a mind to come and pick her up and take her and bring her back, I will be very forceful and make sure that they do. even though I don't usually interfere and tell people what they need to do, in this instance, they will do what they need to do. I will
Right.
see to
But
it.
really, she won't be going without you, and you have
No,
decided
no, she's
not to go.
going. No, no, I'm not going because I am not a hypocrite. And I don't want anybody coming and giving me their condolences, because I'm going to ask them, where were you all these 2 years? Why are you telling me sorry now and you don't give a damn? Right? I don't want to, because that is me. And yes, I have self control, but I'm not going to play the hypocrite for anybody. I'm not going to do that. So I'll make sure everything is in order and they can come and collect her and bring her back.
And
But
somebody has
I
arranged to
don't
do that.
want to be, no, no, I will make sure. I'm going to speak to my cousin later. So I'm sure he can, I will speak to him. He's a decent guy. And he will, he's got friends, he's got people. And I'm sure even if people who should don't, I will talk to him and he will make sure. He will
Right.
make sure. Yes, I get
Right.
on
But
very
it
well
will
with
be
him.
difficult for people who are not used to nursing to look after your sister,
No, she
right?
doesn't need looking after. It's just that she can't walk. That's all. She can sit. It's just that you just need to make sure that they can get her to sit where she needs to sit and all of that.
Oh, she'll be in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But like she will need help getting down the stairs and all of that. No problem.
Hmm.
We can
Hmm.
arrange that. But
Would
I'm
it be
not
easier
going. I'm
if
not
you went?
going. No,
Right.
I'm not going. You see, I plan things in advance. So when I say something, I don't need to tell anybody sorry, because I mean it. Right? When
So
I
so
when
you
when I
you
take an
planned
action,
not
I don't need to apologize. Yeah, I planned this before, even
you
before
planned
the.
before your mother was dead that you wouldn't go
Yes,
to
that
the
I wasn't
funeral.
go when I was told last week. I said I'm not going because, right. So I have my reasons for not going. I don't wait until I get into a situation and then something happens and then I think, oh, I wish I hadn't. I know what's going to happen. I know I'm going to get all these hypocrites coming to me and telling me sorry. And I don't want them to talk to me. I don't want that kind of interaction. So I'd rather not go.
Right. Okay. You made it clear that you don't want to be at you didn't get on with your mother. Would you
It's
like
nothing
to
to do with
start?
that. No, no, no. It's not to do with that. It's because people have a tendency to be hypocrites. They don't, what I say, don't speak ill of the dead. They're all going to come and make up that they're all one big happy family and friends and all this kind of garbage, which isn't true. I don't want to have anything to do with that. She has transitioned and gone to the other place. I've had my conversation with God, and I said, make sure that she's behaving herself, because that's how I interact with God and all of that. She is out of it. She's not there. You know what I mean? She's gone about her business. She's on her way. I don't want to get into anything where anybody's going to come and talk to me nicely when they didn't give a damn. These almost 2 years we've been here, nobody's given a damn about how we're surviving.
Well, it's
They
more
don't care
about
about the living. They don't care about the living. It's always like that. So you know what people are like. It's like they
yeah,
will
but
see the
it's about
homeless
your
man.
mother, isn't it? It's about your mother's funeral, not so much
No, no, no.
about.
It's nothing to do with that. It's to do with everything, because it's all one. It is all one. It's the same people I'm going to be dealing with. It is all one thing. So
I
so
suppose. Yeah.
it is all one, right? So I'm choosing my actions. I chose my actions up front, and I won't have any regrets. I won't have any regrets, right?
So
Let
you
let
you
let
knew your
other people
mother.
have their regrets. Let them have their regrets. I won't have any regrets because
So you knew your mother was poorly last week.
last week, yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Did she have a message for you? Did she die at home or in hospital?
Well, my brother-in-law who was visiting from Canada came round and he had like a message. He recorded a message and he played it to Gloria because the message was for her. It was like saying goodbye.
Right.
And she was saying that she didn't think it would end like this, like she can't help Gloria and Gloria can't help her. But you see, the reason I'm doing this with you now is because there are lessons that people need to learn. Treat everybody well. Don't just treat that person over there well, because you don't know who you're going to need in life. And it's not like you're doing it because you're thinking in terms of yourself and how it's going to benefit you. I'll give you a story. There was a woman came up to, it's somebody that I didn't even get on with really. And she came up to me and said, I have to tell you this. My daughter says that her hero is Liz. And she said, I thought she was talking about another Liz because I didn't even know that she was, sort of had anything to do with you. And she said, no, she said Liz Young. And she said, why? And she said, because she's a friend to everybody. Right? That's a
Hmm.
child. That's a child that I didn't have much interaction with. A child noticed that. And she said to her mother, my hero is Liz because she's a friend to everybody. And that's
Hmm.
me. I don't care who you are. Right? You can be the stranger on the street. If you need help, I will help you. And this is why people don't understand. They keep coming with this, oh, you must really love your sister. And I keep telling them it's nothing to do with love. She needed help. And I came and helped her. But people always want to put it that, and pinpoint it down to something that is my nature. I help people. Nothing to do with that she's your sister. And this is the problem with a lot of people. They are biased about who they're going to help. I don't have that kind of prejudice. I help whoever needs help if I'm in a position to help them. And that's something people don't understand. It takes a child to have that kind of understanding. She's a friend to everybody. And this isn't even a child that had much to do with it. It's a child observing this. She's a friend to everybody.
Would you like to explain, give people an idea of why you and your mother didn't get on?
It's not a question of not getting on. It was a case that, like, going back from like when we were teenagers, it was like, right, whatever. I don't know what it was. But I will go to the point where she said, like, if you don't stop going to church, you can get out of my house. It was always something. And when I was 17, she kicked me out, kind of thing. But the thing is, people say, you must have done something. And it's like, no, it was just, it was like, who had the upper hand? Threats. If you don't do this, then I'm going to do that. But then it got to the point where there was no threats. Sort of like in life, you get to the point where nobody has anything over you. So
So, was
the
there
jump,
something that your mother wanted you to do that you refused to do, and an
no,
ultimatum?
no, no. Like, for example, she didn't go to my sister's wedding.
Glorious.
No, no, my sister in Canada. She didn't go
Right.
to the wedding. She was invited. She didn't go. But it's this thing. So it's like I am the only one that she didn't have any kind of control over, because I am not the touchy feely emotional type of person. So whereas she was always being a certain way towards the rest of them, they would still keep making an effort. Whereas I don't do that. I will leave you to be whatever kind of person you want to be, but I'm not going to come and try and come around you and try to be nice and try. You know what I mean?
I
Like
don't
this.
understand why you mentioned your mother not going to
No, no,
your
I'm giving
sister's
you an
wedding in Canada.
example. I'm giving you an example to say this is sort of something going way back. This is like 1985, right? So
So
going way back.
I just don't understand the relevance of her not
I
going to.
no, because what I'm saying is it's sort of like we always had that kind of thing. So it wasn't just exclusively me.
What do you mean? What kind of thing? I don't understand.
No, it's just like power and control, a struggle, a clash of
Right. So
empires
your
will
sister
clash
in
kind of
Canada,
thing.
Your
So
sister
all
in
right, so
Canada.
basically if you step forward, she steps back. So if I was right, so she got invited to the wedding, I'm not going. So if I was the type to be, going to her, she would push back.
So you are saying that your mother, for some reason, didn't want to go to your sister's wedding in Canada,
No, it's not in
and
Canada. It was here. They moved to Canada like maybe 20 years ago. The wedding was here in the UK.
right. So your sister had in some way displeased your mother, and she
No, it wasn't
refused.
that. It's just like I don't know. Maybe she didn't approve of her getting married so young. Whatever. Didn't
Uh-huh.
go to the way. Yeah. No, but it could have been anything. But I'm telling you, I understand human nature very well, and it's one of them things. Like, all right, so it's like a spoiled child, right? Where you're rewarding the child. The child doesn't change the behavior, but you're rewarding the child. So it's the
So
same kind of thing. So like she is how she is, and people keep going towards her and enabling her kind of thing. Whereas I wouldn't.
right. So your mother wouldn't go to your sister's wedding because she disapproved of the man she was marrying, and I suppose.
Not necessarily. It could be anything. So it's a bit light. It could be anything. So it's like if you don't stop going to church, get out of my house. Type thing. It could be anything. It's just power and control. People will do that. All right. Imagine the abusive husband. My food's cold. It can be anything. You know what I mean? Any excuse to pick an
Yeah, but
argument.
there
Food's
would be an,
cold, but dinner's
yeah.
late. Where you been? It can be anything. It's that kind of scenario.
So you're saying that your mother was a control freak.
It could be anything. It could be anything. That's why I'm saying I'm not going to give you any specific. I'm just giving an example of what it was like. It's like that husband who's saying, "Where's my dinner? The dinner's cold. I don't want that. Where you going? Why you wearing that?" That kind of scenario, which I'm sure your viewers, your listeners understand very well.
Right.
Right.
So
But I didn't play that game, you see, because I'm the one that didn't have the husband. You understand? So I wouldn't be in a situation with the husband who's going to tell me this, that, the other, or whatever.
I'm sorry, I don't understand this thing about the husband. What was
I'm
this
giving
got
you the
to?
scenario, whereas the other people, I'm giving you the example of the complaining husband who always finding fault. So I am the person who wouldn't have that husband. I would be living the single life rather than have that type of "where's my dinner? Where are you going? Why are you wearing that?" type person.
Okay. Okay.
Whereas the others would keep going back.
Well, I suppose they want a husband,
Well, yeah.
right?
So,
And
so
put
it's
up
that kind of
with the
well, that's what
inconvenience.
yeah. So you put up with all the garbage, whereas I wouldn't. And
But
because they put yeah, so because you put
yeah,
up with the garbage, then that person doesn't have any reason to change. I will give
yes.
you another scenario.
What
Uh,
was the
Oh,
problem
let me
of
give you
your?
let me give you another scenario. So there's this guy, there's a Jamaican, well, it's not there anymore, but there's this miserable man who owned a Jamaican takeaway, and doesn't know how to talk to people, no customer service, and people say, "Oh, that's how he is." And one time I went in the shop, and long story short, I said to him, "I'm not coming back in here." And I would see him and on the street walk past him, and these sorts of like, obviously we're not acknowledging one another, and the only reason it was like that was because people allowed him. And I went into the shop one time because we had a power cut and I needed to get some with like series of power cuts, but I needed to get something to eat. And I went in the shop and he was ever so nice. The guy was ever so nice. You wouldn't think it's the same person. Why? Because somebody told him about himself. And but the thing is, everybody else was that's how he is and crawling around him. So if you do that with people, they have no reason to change.
Right.
So
So
so it's,
what did
it's
he
kind of
want?
like so
Well,
no so
I
she no so what I'm telling you now, she behaved different towards me. So the way she was with everybody else, she couldn't behave like that with me.
right.
Yeah,
So
because you got to the point where you're not in the house anymore, you got your own life, and so you don't need anything, you don't have to have an interaction with that person. Whereas the others would think, oh, she's mother, and you need to keep in touch because family and all this kind of thing. Whereas I think is family is as family does. And I got the same attitude with friendship. Friendship is as friendship does. If you've got a nasty attitude, then I don't need to have anything to do with you,
So
right? If you
how
want,
old was your mother? Just to get a picture of her.
she would have been 80 this year.
Hmm.
Yeah. But she was as strong as an ox.
Would you like to describe your mother?
Not really, no. I'm not good at, for the reason I'm not good at describing. I'm not good
Well,
at describing.
right. So I suppose since this video is about your mother, we kind of want to understand,
No, it's not
your
really.
relationship.
No, 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 no. We're not. It's not about that. We're talking about why I'm not weeping and wailing and falling over the place and having people to pick me up and whatever and save me from slashing my wrists and all this thing. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about my attitude towards life and death.
Right.
We're not talking about paying tribute to mother. We're talking about, right, so I got the news today and this is my reaction.
Hmm.
And people would assume, oh, it's because you didn't get on. I'm telling you, it could be anybody. And you could bring me news that somebody died and we would be having this conversation. Because I understand that you are born, you live, and you die.
Did you?
Right?
Is your
Death
father
is a
still
part of
alive?
life. No, he died in 2008.
Did you attend his funeral?
No, because he was in Jamaica.
Hmm. But you would have gone if he were in.
If I was in a position to, probably yes, but I wasn't.
Hmm.
But again, it's that thing, life and death.
Yes. Has the passing of anyone ever upset you?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
I suppose as we get older, we get used to these things.
It's not a question of getting older, because with age doesn't come wisdom, does it? You see a lot of old people and they have no sense. You know, that's a myth. With age comes wisdom.
I suppose that there comes some resignation about the
Possibly,
inevitable.
but not necessarily wisdom.
Yeah.
But like I said, people will interpret this that I'm cold and heartless, and it's nothing to do with that. It's practicalities. What you're gonna go around is, you see, like society, they're pushing this mental illness and weakness, and it's okay to not be okay kind of thing. And you get people that can't stand on their own 2 feet. Everybody's complaining about their mental health.
Hmm. Well,
Well,
I
I look
suppose
at it the opposite way. You're supposed to have mental strength and not mental illness.
yes, yes.
Resilience. Life
But
goes
you,
on.
but it didn't come as a shock to you because you were
No, but I
13.
didn't expect it so quickly. But I expected it because I understand human nature. And if
But
you see, like I said,
but didn't you say
if I
last
have to
week?
go to the doctor, it would be failure on my part if I have to go to the doctor.
Yes, but did
So
you
I'm
say last
saying,
week that you had already decided not to go to your mother's funeral, so she
yeah,
must
because
have
I
been
knew.
ill?
No, but I'm saying that once she got the diagnosis, I know there was no coming back, because she's somebody who lives and dies by what the doctor says.
So when did she get her diagnosis?
From the when?
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but it was my sister in San Francisco that contacted me and told me.
right, right. So, but she knew. What was
So
she
I
expecting?
don't know. Hmm? I don't know dates and details. I only know what was told to me. But
Right.
it was sort of from a perspective like, oh, family can get together, and it's like, but I don't have anything to do with them. You see, because it's like what you're talking about, family maybe can get together and forgive and forget. We're talking about I'm the one that gets treated like the pariah, right? So there's nothing in it for me. What is in it for me? What do I gain? If I occupy pariah status, what do I gain in this forgiving and forgetting thing?
Have you always not got on with your mother?
No, but I'm saying because I am different. When I say different, I mean I live alternatively. I said that to you before. From I was at school, I've I was looking at, well, from way beyond, from I was even younger than that. I used to think about life. I've always been a deep thinker, even though I don't wear it on my sleeve. And I was at school in the classroom thinking, hang on a minute, we go to school, we get a job, we retire, and we die. That's life. And I didn't sign up for it. I decided at school that I wasn't going to sign up for it. There's a bit like I was offered the opportunity to learn to type at school, and I chose not to because it would ensure that I never worked in an office, because I knew that working in an office wasn't the thing that was suitable for me. So
What you
if you
see as
like,
the purpose of life.
I self sabotage, if you like. So I've never worked in an office because I never developed office skills
So
to
what do you
fall
see?
back on.
Right. So what do you see as the purpose of your life?
The purpose of my life, well, I have various gifts and talents, and God didn't give them to me in vain. So
Well, what did your mother think you should have done with your life?
whatever other people's children were doing, because
Right.
that's how that was the mentality, and I'm sure you know that mentality. This one's daughter is doing this. Why aren't you doing that? That's usually the mentality that people have.
So your mother saw. How would you describe your mother's attitude to life then?
I wouldn't describe anybody's attitude, because that would be me speculating. In the same way that people think they know me, very few people, well, they know me on a surface. And this is why I said now is a very good time for people to get to realize that I am not who they think I am, because
And who are
I don't share their reactions. I'm not I'm not the same as them, but people will interpret it that I'm cold. I am somebody who practices actively self development, and I've been doing this since the 1990s. I actively, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. So every day, while this time of year it's slow work wise, I get up every morning and I go to the gym. I speed walk a mile and a half. I was doing it last week with ankle weights. 3.3 pounds weights around each ankle. Even when it rained and it hailed, I still walked to the gym as part of my exercise routine. And then I spend an hour in the pool doing my exercises, and then I walk back. And I do that every day while I have time. And I was getting to the gym for like 6:45 in the morning. And that was the routine. I didn't jump on a bus or turn back because it's raining and hailing.
so what do you see as a purpose of your life?
The purpose of my life is to do whatever it is that God sent me here to do, which is something that I'm not going to discuss at this moment. But I assure you, when that time comes, you will get the first interview.
All right.
And you can hold me to that. But when the time comes, because the thing is, it's all good and well talking, but it's not until you're in that position and it's manifesting that that you can talk and people will. It's a bit like Susan Boyle on Britain's Got Talent, where she turns up and she says she wants to be the next Elaine Page, and everybody's laughing at her. And then she opens her mouth and she starts singing, and everybody shuts up, and whatever, the rest.
Right.
Right. So some things have to manifest before you can talk about them.
What did
But
your mother think was the purpose of her life?
I don't know.
You
I wouldn't know. Never had that conversation.
Can you
We
make
have
a general statement about the purpose of life,
no.
even if it's not about you or
I can
anyone
only
you know?
speak about me. I can only speak about me, that God sent me here to do whatever it is that He wants me to do. And I said, you will be the first to get the interview at such
Right.
a point, when you get to that point, because that's only when people will pay attention. It's like when I was in my 20s, I said I was never going to get old, and people used to laugh, and what are you talking about? We all get old. And then I get to this point, and I can show you pictures from 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, and you can't see much difference now. And people are going to start telling me, you're lucky, you got good genes, it's because you don't have children and all this garbage. But in the
Did your
beginning,
mother
they were
share your
laughing.
characteristics?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't. I don't think anybody shares my characteristics. I don't think so.
And may we know how many siblings you have?
Uh, five plus half brothers and sisters.
Hmm. Hmm. And are you the youngest or middle or oldest?
Four of six or eight of 10.
Wow. Wow. Ah. But I suppose at the death of one's parents, one, I suppose, reflects a little bit on the purpose of life. And I suppose children, the kind of children we would like to have if we had any.
I don't think in those terms. I just think that there's people and they've got all these hang-ups, and oh, I need to have a child, I need this and that. And it's like, my job is to live. And if God wants to give me whatever He wants to give, fine. I don't go chasing anything. I don't chase life. I just do what I have to do, and I let it come to me. And I find I don't have any problems. But I, like, for example, at the swimming pool, there's one lady, hi Pat, because you're gonna be watching this later, and she keeps saying, I'm gonna get you in the deep end. And it's like, but I have no interest in learning to swim. I'm gonna get you into the deep end. I have no interest in learning to swim. I have no interest in learning to swim. In the same way that I had no interest in learning to type.
And
There's
you
just some things
prefer
that I'm not
to,
interested in doing.
right, so you prefer to what? I mean, how has your, how are things better not closing off one option? I suppose that's my question.
Because you can't do everything. You have to make choices about what you're going to do, right? You can't do everything.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have the
So
thing
I
that
can't
everybody
ride a
says you should
bicycle.
do it,
I can't ride a bicycle, and I think I already explained that to you, that I will never fall. If I can't ride a bicycle, I will never fall off a bicycle, and I
right?
will never break a bone. I will
Not not
never
not
get
that way.
knocked. I will never get hit by a bus. But there's
Hmm.
certain things I live risk free. And I had some, I will say, idiot say the other day, oh, but anything could happen. Yeah, but if you don't put yourself in the situation, it's less likely to happen. So there is zero chance that a bus is gonna come into the living room, drive into the living room, right? Because we're on the fourth floor. But there's a
Yeah.
possibility that if I'm outside loitering or something, a bus could mount the pavement. Because I did know somebody I used to work with, and that actually happened to him. I
Well,
think
he
he was
was
on
run
his
over
20.
by a bus.
Yeah, the bus mounted the pavement and killed him. He was only 21. So that could happen randomly. So that can happen, but you don't put yourself in the situation. Like there was a woman at the gym the other day bragging that she's gonna spend her 40th birthday abroad in Mexico,
Hmm.
and I said to her, "You're brave," because I would not put myself. I mean, we've had discussions where people go backpacking and end up dead. I wouldn't do anything like that because I live risk free. But then you had the big mouth woman, oh well, we could, anything could happen any place, anytime. And it's like, yeah, but you don't put yourself in the situation. If you don't have to, there's certain things you don't have to do. but you choose to do, and it could end up bad for you because you made that choice. So, like for
So
example, I wouldn't pick myself up and go to a foreign country where I don't speak the language. That is, to me, I wouldn't do anything like that.
so how many countries have you visited in your life?
Well, I'm not into traveling.
Right.
You see,
So
so like for
Jamaica and
example, with the lockdown, it didn't bother me when they're saying, "Oh, you need to have the vaccination passport," because I don't need to go anywhere because I'm not. I can stay in the house. I don't need to go outside. If I've got everything, I'm all right because I'm not that kind of person. I don't need to see the world. I don't need to do anything like that. That's not, I'm not that
Mhm.
kind of person. Well, I would say I'm quite boring. I'm not,
Mhm.
but I will say just to make life easy for other people, I will say that I'm boring. To save them the trouble of saying it, I will say I'm boring, but I'm not. I
So
just
if
know I
you
know what I like and I stick to it.
won the lottery, what would you do?
I would give most of it away and keep 3 million, and I would buy a house that I already have my mind on. I would renovate it, and I would build a venue in the back so we can have parties on a Friday night. But I would make it like a shed so the neighbors wouldn't know. So it would be like the TARDIS kind of. It looks like a phone box, It looks like a
Mhm.
shed, but it's not
You'd
really a shed.
soundproof it. You'd
And that's
soundproof your.
and that's it. Yeah, soundproof it and whatever. And I would just spend my time playing music, learning more instruments, and so on.
You
That's it.
wouldn't go on a cruise or.
I would probably go on a cruise because I like the idea that everything is in house.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
can
have
go
to
to
keep
cat.
packing and unpacking.
Exactly.
Did your mother
Hmm.
go on holidays?
Yep.
Did she go on
Yeah.
cruises? Ah,
I think. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
oh, good for her.
She
And
had the tendency to be the life and the soul of the party kind of thing. She had all of that going on for her.
mhm.
But the whole point is it's not about what people have the potential to do, it's what they end up doing or not doing.
What do you think she didn't do in her life?
She could have made a lot more of it. Was
Such
she
as?
talented? Was a talented person.
Was she? What was she good at doing?
Well, she could ride a bicycle. But no, when I say you know what I mean, because it's kind of like what you can ride a bicycle. You can do
I'm sure
this.
she
You
could do
can.
more than that.
I don't know. I'm just saying that as an example because I think like you can ride a bicycle and people of a certain age kind of thing from a certain era. So she was quite outgoing. We go
Right,
to
she was.
parties and so on, and I'm not
So
gonna
this
go
is
into the
a characteristic that you share with her because you're a party girl too, right?
but not as such, not in that kind of way, not in that because I'm the kind I will go out by myself. So I don't need people. I don't need anybody to. If I decide I want to go out tonight, I can pick up myself and go, and I won't need to ring anybody and say, "Do you fancy going out?" So like I don't have a group of friends or anything like that. I have none of my friends know each other.
Where would you go tonight if you could just do it?
Mm, Well, I probably wouldn't go anywhere because the music wouldn't be to my taste. But
Hmm.
if I had somewhere where they're playing 70s disco, then no problem. If on a Wednesday night there was a venue playing 70s disco, I would be there every night, every
Hmm.
Wednesday night. But you see, I don't go out for the sake of going out. It needs to be something that I know I'm going to enjoy. Otherwise, there's no point. So, you know what I mean? I don't go out for the sake of going out. So it's the same with life. You don't just live for the sake of living. You're supposed to have some kind of purpose to it.
Well, yeah, I suppose if I, went out, um, I suppose I would think in terms of a restaurant, and if I did go to a restaurant, I would, want someone to come with me.
Yeah, but you see, because we're going back now in time to the 80s, when in my 20s, I'd say, right, you fancy going clubbing, because in the 80s music was good. You could go to any club and the music was good. And it's like, no, I'm too old for this. And this is people in their early 20s. And it's like, oh, so you're making yourself old. So from then I decided, well, I'm not going to sit around waiting for people to go out. If I want to go out, I will go out by myself. And that's what I used to do.
You go into clubs by yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. I suppose I'm thinking of going out to. I suppose I think of a
I used to
theatre,
go to
restaurants,
restaurants.
and things
Yeah, I
like
used to
that.
go to restaurants by myself. I come from the gym and then I go and have, what depends on what time. If it was in the morning, I go to the restaurant and I have breakfast. In the afternoon, I go and have dinner, lunch, whatever, by myself.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do that too. But I suppose if I
Hmm.
went to a nice restaurant, I would want to go with
Yeah, with a nice
someone.
restaurant, and you want to be escorted, right? So in that kind of situation, so you just you do what you can with what you have.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a bit like, I like to play tennis. I don't have anyone to play with, so I don't play tennis.
Uh, sorry, you can play tennis, or you never
I
learned,
like to play tennis. I
but
like
but
to play tennis, but I don't have anybody to play with, so I don't.
but if you go to a tennis club, I suppose you always find somebody to play with.
Of course, but it's not that important. If it was that
Hmm.
important, of course I would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never learned how to return a ball.
Ah,
There's a special art to it, but I never
maybe
worked
in
it out.
summer, maybe in summer we can find a tennis court.
Hmm. Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. Hmm. So
So, mhm.
I suppose I'm a little curious about your mother because, she's kind of, for me anyway, the subject of this conversation.
Put it this way, one of her friends said to me that she said, you can say anything you like about Liz, but she's kind. So she knew what I was about, even if we clashed or whatever. You see what I
That's
mean?
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
She said if she got her last 2 pence and you need it, she will give it to you. So she knew what I was about. So she probably knew what I was about more than anybody else. You know
Do
what I mean?
yes. Do you believe in the afterlife?
Of course. That's why I said, I wish her a safe journey and behave herself when she gets over there and all of that.
So I guess you think, well, I suppose the whole idea about an afterlife is that we will meet the people
And we
that
will meet
we
again.
will meet in this life.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like a bus. It's like a bus. You get on the bus, you meet the other passengers, and one person gets off and says, nice talking to you, bye. And you carry on, and eventually everybody gets off the bus. Life is a bus journey, literally. Some people get on earlier. Some people get you might get on earlier but get off at the last stop. Some people get off only going one stop.
Uh-huh.
So people die. You get children dying, people living into 100 and something and whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's a bus journey.
Right.
And then Earth is like a hotel. We check in and then we check out.
Okay.
That is
Right. Well,
reality.
it's not that final then, is it?
No, no, but you have to come to an understanding rather than all the weeping and the wailing and the gnashing of teeth, and you never get past that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of the process. It's what happens. But you see, it's only if you have guilt or something. Oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done that. Then you end up kind of like with all the regretful feelings. I don't have any regrets, because I whatever I did, that was the right thing to do.
Could you
I'm not
excuse me
gonna.
just one moment? Could you
Yep.
excuse me just one moment?
Hmm. commercial break.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sorry about that.
No worries.
Where were we?
I was saying that life is like a bus journey. Some people get on the bus and get off earlier. Some people get off later. Earth is like a hotel. We check in and we check out.
The book that you wrote
Mm-hmm.
called,
We exist. Why?
yes. Did you,
Mm-hmm.
what was your answer to that question?
It's not. It's not me answering the question. It's me putting questions and yeah, posing questions about things that people already know but take for granted.
Right.
The
And
point being to make people think, but
did,
it's not to tell you what to think. It's to make you think.
did your mother ever read the book?
I don't think so.
Right. Do you, do you know what her answer to that question would be?
No, because you're talking as though we got on.
No, well, sometimes
So
we
that's
kind
what
of,
I'm saying. We wouldn't have had that kind of conversation. Nothing like that would have come up. I mean, when I did do super size versus super skinny, she watched that and she said the doctor was talking rubbish because when he's saying about I'm gonna get brittle bones because I don't drink milk or something to that effect. She said, well, tell him that I'm whatever age she was and I don't drink milk and I don't have brittle bones. So she was into health and fitness.
oh, so, same as you?
Not same as me, because she remember she doctor the doctor was her god, remember? So not same as me. God is my God. It's a bit like you see with people and politicians and all these people, I don't have any regard for them. So whatever the politicians and the media and the doctors and all these experts tell them, they will listen to. I don't listen to anybody. The only person I listen to is God.
Does he actually say anything?
Yeah, I get whatever inspiration I need. Whatever
He,
inspiration. So even when I'm doing all the exercises that I do in the pool are inspired. My face exercises, the exercises, none of them are like what I've seen anybody doing. I get an idea and I do it. So that
aquarobics.
if you want to call it that, but they have their class, but I've never felt inclined to join the class because, like I said in the previous video, it's not working for them. I mean, not just that, but I've always done my own thing anyway.
Hmm.
Inspiration is out there in the same way knowledge is out there, and knowledge is power. Inspiration is one form of knowledge as well.
But God doesn't speak to you directly in a sort of,
No, there's
echo
not. No, it
way
doesn't
or
talk to me in the way that you're talking to me. No, he
no, okay.
inspires me with ideas.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Mm.
So, like with the book, there's things in it that I didn't even think about. They're just sort of, some people would call it being downloaded to them. It was things that were coming into my mind as I was writing, and I just put them on the page.
Yes, yes.
And the title as well. I was offered the publishing deal before I had a title for the book, and it's when I had to fill that bit in, I went title, 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 and it came to me as was we exist exclamation mark why question mark. I didn't actually have a title until the point when I went to fill in sign the contract.
Hmm.
We exist why? But you see, the problem, society, the academia is more consumed with how we exist as opposed to why. Doesn't
Well,
matter
we
how
exist
we
because we are.
it doesn't matter how we know that we are here. We just need to find out why. It's not the how. We are here. It doesn't matter how. The fact is we are here. The how is looking back. And then you waste your time looking back and you don't kind of look forward as to why you're here and what
Yeah,
you're
well,
supposed
people
to
have
do
always
about
been
it.
wondering how they ought to. People have always been wondering how they should lead their lives, and what rules they should follow, and all that.
Yeah, but most people are closed-minded and it's like, well, this is what I believe and this is what it's got to fit in this margin. There's a lot of people on Facebook try to come to me from the angle because they don't like what I say because it is in conflict with their belief system or whatever. But it is too bad if your belief system is stopping you from embracing something that is true. Then there's something wrong with your belief system. You see, my belief system allows me to embrace all truth.
Can
If
you
your
give an
belief
example
system,
of you doing what you do and other people not being able to do it? And I mean, I don't see what we all obviously have our own lives in a.
well, I go clubbing. I go clubbing, and any religious person will tell you it's wrong to go clubbing. I was
Well,
working
I
in a
suppose after a
nightclub when I
certain
was
age,
going to church.
people
I was
lose
working.
interest in doing that.
No, yeah, but that's because they're not interested. But I was working in a nightclub when I was 19 and going to church. And people used to like, oh, because I come in stinking of cigarette smoke. Because back in those days, you could smoke indoors. But I was upfront about it. This is what I do. I go clubbing. I work in a nightclub, and I love music and whatever. It didn't mean I was in the club drinking alcohol or anything like that. It was just I even talk about that in the book, where guys used to ask me, what am I taking? In the club, I get them, what are you taking? And all it was the enjoyment of the music. What are
So,
you taking?
what kind of music do the
Nin-
clubs you go?
1980s 1980s pop music.
Okay.
It was 1985. I used to work at the Camden Palace.
Hmm.
I like music. I like clubbing. It is what it is. Some people would say, oh, you're too old, you're trying to hang on to your youth. I like what I like. And it's this thing where people think you get, my thing is like, at what point do young women get into the purple rinse and the comfortable shoes? You know what I mean?
When they
At what
lose their
point
figure.
at what point do you make that transition? Because that transition is never gonna happen for me. You've seen my boots, my big biker boots.
Hmm.
Should somebody my age be dressing like that?
Hmm.
Exactly. So I don't do age. I just do whatever I want to do. And so that's it. Do you realize that actually no, it's not started. It won't start until 8 o'clock.
What? Something on TV?
No. Liverpool versus Norwich.
Oh, right. And you like football, and you
I
support
do
Liverpool.
indeed. Yes, I do.
Why Liverpool?
Because that's a team that was flying high in 1977 when we came back from Jamaica. Isn't that what people do? You support the popular team. So Liverpool were riding high. So Liverpool, even, when they were sort of going through a bad time in the mid 90s and all of that, still stuck with them. Liverpool is my team.
Hmm. Have you ever played football?
Nah, I don't do contact sports because I live risk free. I wouldn't do anything like that. You can stay on the other side of the net and I'll hit the ball to you, but that's as good as it will get. I don't do anything like that where I might
Hmm.
risk life or limb.
What sport have you ever played?
I used to run 800 and 1500 meters, and apparently I was very good at it. I could have been a contender.
What made you not be a contender?
Because I was only doing it like, church, sports days, and whatever. I got all the certificates still somewhere. No, I used to do that, but I was told I was, I think it was the coach of Belgrave Harriers. I was running around Battersea Park in my Converse, and he said to the other guy, "She's good, and she's not even wearing the right shoes."
Mhm.
So I could have been a runner, because middle distance, but we didn't go down that road.
I don't think I've titled this correctly, you know.
A matter of life and death. That's what you should call it.
You make it sound urgent.
Yeah, it's a film title of a film.
Right. And what is
Very
a matter of
interesting.
life and death? What is a
Actually, that's
matter?
a no, because the matter of life and death. Very interesting film. You should watch it sometime, maybe with David Niven. And it's set during the Second World War, and he gets shot down, and he's supposed to die, but he doesn't. And so on the one side, where all the other soldiers are checking into the afterlife, they're waiting for him, and he doesn't show up. And long story short, so he meets this woman. They sort of like fall in love and blah blah blah, and it's a tussle to stay, because they want him to come to the other side, because it's a mistake, you should have died. And so they have to go legalistic about it, and they have a court case and whatever, and he wins and he gets to stay. They give him X amount of extra years. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh, yes, I remember. It's a
really good film.
romance. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yes, I
so
think I did.
we don't know how many extra years he gets, but they allow him to stay.
Yes, that there was this escalator thing, wasn't there?
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what is a matter of life and death?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
When
So
it's our time to go, it is our time to go.
yes, and we all know that. But what is a matter of life and death?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're talking about. Matters of life and death.
Right. Usually, you know, when people say it's a matter of life and death, people say, "Well, what
Some
exactly is it?" You
mm,
know. So I'm
well,
kind of
it's like we exist. Why the title of the book, and everybody typically. So why do we exist? How lazy is that?
well. People probably don't understand the question.
No, but
So
it's for them to find
because
out why
it
you.
always sort of goes back to God,
No, but
doesn't
it's
it? It's like,
laziness.
we
Why are they
exist
going?
because God created us,
No, but
or we just happen to be
no,
here.
but that's why there's so much religious confusion, because everybody is so damn lazy to go and find out for themselves. They need some kind of spiritual guru to point them in that direction, leading them in the wrong path.
Well,
But
they
it's all
don't
it,
have a religion, do they? Most
no, but
people,
that's our
who
point.
don't have
But
a religion will be in difficulties about knowing what
no,
to do with their lives.
no, but you're going to some pastor or some other normal person to point you to the way to God. Why don't you just go and find God independently?
Well, no,
That's what I
because
did.
the idea is that if you do believe in God, then you would know if you're male or female, you know. But if you don't believe in God, you'll be gender fluid and all that sort of thing, and
Well,
therefore you're more likely to waste your time and not do the thing that you might
this is
wish you
well,
had
that's what I'm
done at the
saying.
end of your
That's
time.
But that's what I'm saying, with a lot of the confusion and everything, and some of the arguments that people want to bring to me on Facebook, and not necessarily bringing arguments, but they get upset because what I'm saying doesn't support their belief system or whatever. But that's too bad. You shouldn't have to get upset if somebody says something that goes against your belief system. If your belief system is correct, then what's the problem? So it's like with hate speech, and what's the other one? You got hate speech, and there's something else. I can't remember. But it's where you're not allowed to say certain things. You can't say
What
certain things.
crime?
Why not? Yeah, there is that as well. Yes. Yeah. Hate speech. I can't remember what the other one is. Hmm? Fat shaming. That's the contribution from Gloria.
Oh, right, right.
Fat shaming and all these things. But if you're fat, right? Isn't fat a descriptive word? If in the same way you're slim, you're slim. If you're fat, you're fat. What's the problem?
Well, it's all about being able to control our appetites, yes?
No, no, but it's you're making certain people a protected species
Well, it's
by and
political about,
by attacking others and protecting. In fact, the ones that you're protecting are the ones that are attacking the others that aren't allowed to say anything. You're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a this, you're a that. You see, so when
well,
people come
it's
to
all
me,
political. It's all about status.
no,
And
but when people come to me and say such things, I say, and what? Who cares? And then where do they go with that? You have to be in a position where they can cancel you for it to matter. I'm not in any situation where I can get cancelled, so I don't need to care about anybody's feelings and emotions. I don't need to do that. And that's where there's so much hypocrisy, because there's a lot of people who don't believe certain things, but they got they have to play along because their jobs matter,
well,
or
it
they have to
matters
keep
to
their mouth,
them.
or they have to keep their mouth shut. Yeah, it matters to them, or they have to keep their mouth shut.
So
But
we live in a crazy, stupid world where the wrong
exactly.
people are in charge.
Well, yeah, but the whole point is, like I said, going back to what we're talking about, it's about the correct perspective. So imagine we could have had a house full of people here tonight, and it could have been a whole load of weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, and that's not happening because we have a different understanding. I'm not going to say
So
better,
where's the
I say
weeping and
different.
wailing taking place?
No, I'm saying I've seen this. I've seen this with other people. I've
Well,
seen this.
obviously, if there's been a death in a family, people will want to, gather together and talk about it.
No, it's not talking about it. It's the weeping and the wailing and the gnashing of teeth scenario, right? So this is
Is
why
it that
people will.
dramatic?
No, so this is why people will come and say to me, "Are you all right?" And it's like, why wouldn't I be all right? So it's like with my sister, they more think that the issue that I might have is mental health. So I am sick of people saying to me at the gym, "Oh, it's really good for your mental health and you get your me time." And it's like, we're talking about me time. I always have me time. I always have me time because like I said, I don't need to go anywhere. Some people say, "Oh, I need to go on a holiday to get away from it all." And when are you going on holiday? And I said, "I'm not going." And it's like, "Well, you need to get away from it." And I said, "Get away from what? I like my life." You know what I mean? What is it to get away from? So it's this assumption that, you know, I need to de-stress, you need to de-stress. I don't have the same needs and wants as you. That is you. Don't put your thing on me, because I don't put my thing on other people. Right? I just acknowledge that I am me and you are you. I can do that, but I get the opposite, where people trying to put their thing on me. Oh, but you must be feeling that way. And sometimes we can have problems with our mental health and we don't know. It's like, I know I don't have any problems because I know how to handle myself, and I don't have stress. I don't have anything because I know how to talk to people, and I don't shy away. If I need to tell somebody what I need to tell them and they're not going to like it, it's too bad. I'm not going to feel guilty afterwards, because if you put yourself in that situation, you take what you get. Sometimes
Mm.
people feel guilty because it's like, oh, I wish I shouldn't have said that. That those women at the gym that I mentioned, I still manhandle them. I still don't talk to them. I'm still giving them the treatment. And it's not because I'm hanging on to anything. They're nasty pieces of work. I hear what they do to other people. And all I'm doing is I'm just bringing them down because it bothers them. I treat them the way that I do. It bothers them,
What do
but
they do
I
to other
I hear
people?
where they freeze people out. It's like it's it's their aqua class. It's their you know. There's people saying they don't like to go in the gym because of the way people are. That's my position. You know, it's a
Oh,
bit
it's my
like
place kind of thing. Right, right.
yeah. That's usually where I take position. Like in the swimming pool, for example. That's I'm hearing people telling me things that and it's like why would you want to get involved with people like that? Why do you want to have anything to do with them? You know, but they make it so what I do is I devalue the thing because it's for them it's something like the holy grail, something that everybody wants. I devalue it by telling them that it's not working for them, and then I'm down the other end and I've got people wanting to come and join me and do my exercises, and then eventually it's not going to be of any value to them either.
What isn't going to
the
be of
the
value?
the, the aqua class, it's so precious that they're trying to freeze people out, and there I am telling
What do
them
you mean
that, but
freeze people out? I mean, if you're
they won't
there, you
let.
pay
No,
for
no,
it.
no, no, because it's free, so it's first come first served. It's first come first served. But during the lockdown, this is what I was told. The class was reduced from 16 to 9, and so there were 7 of them that couldn't go. And I was told, I was actually told this on Sunday, that there was one person, an Indian woman, turned up and she wanted to join in, and they weren't very happy about it because it should have been, if somebody is going to join in, it should be one of the 7. It shouldn't be an outsider, even though it's anybody can join the class, right? So they would then occupy the pool so that nobody else could. So they turn up, get in the pool, and nobody else could get in the pool. So they would occupy that space, even though the class doesn't start until a certain time. They would occupy it to ensure that no you know, an outsider doesn't get to come and join the class.
I see. And you are considered an outsider, and
I
you
don't
do
want
your
to
own
join their
exercise.
class. No, but that's no, because the whole conflict was that the instructor didn't turn up. So it's a free for all. The class starts at 8:30. The instructor didn't turn up. That means I don't need to get out of the pool. But they think it belongs to them, and then I kid you not, the whole class came and tried to confront me by the shower, and I just finished them off.
What they came round and said, oh, you shouldn't have. What, you should
You
have
were in
stayed
the
out.
pool talking. Not, well, I've already told you this. Somebody bought my book and she was ranting and raving about it. Oh, I read it and it's really good and I want to have a copy and whatever. They're talking to me. And oh, we could hear you. You didn't stop talking because one of them decided to take the class. They were just splashing about like a bunch of water buffaloes, right? So one of them, because they weren't allowed to do it because insurance purposes and whatever. That's what the guy at the desk said.
Sorry,
Because
what is the
I offered to teach the class, right? And I was told for insurance purposes you can't because the instructor wasn't there. So two of them in the class, one of them started off um, what I don't know what she was doing, and then another one took over. She went and got her phone, and I mean, how are you gonna hear a phone playing music? This is what I'm talking about. Levels, different levels. Just brought her phone, and she's gonna use that like a sound system to play music. So they were doing whatever they're doing. And so we could hear you. You were talking, you know, nonstop. And it's like I was talking very discreetly with this person because when you're talking to one person, you're not talking for everybody. But they're sort of, if they were focused on what they were trying to do, they wouldn't even have noticed us. So they decided to come and confront me by I was, you know, having a cold shower. Just come out
what?
the pool.
So they're confronting you
They
about
come to
talking.
confront me. You were talking, and she was trying
You
to
were
teach. And I said,
talking
but
in class. You were talking in
no,
class.
no, there was no class. It was cancelled. It was just one of them decided that she was going to lead them through some procedures. But the class was cancelled because there was no instructor. Therefore, anybody could go in the pool if there's not a class, right? So that was our point. But they tried to come, as we said, they tried to step to me, and it backfired because I told them I look better than them. I said, I don't come to your class and I look better than all of you, and they know that I look better than them. So when they come and they see me down the shallow end doing my thing, how does that make them feel? Every time they're going to remember what I said to them. So I devalued their class, and I'm still there doing my exercises and getting whatever results I get from it.
Hmm. Hmm.
How did we get to this?
I don't know. We always we
How
tend
did
to
we get here?
revisit the same subjects. I thought it might be more about your mother or something, but we kind of, we
Well,
revisit the same subjects,
we
don't
go
we?
around the streets and around the houses, but
Because I mean, those are the things
I
that's
think
on
I
your
was
mind.
no, I think I was saying I don't actually care what people think. That
You
I
I mean,
think
you
it
say
was
that too,
something to
but
do
I
with
mean,
that.
could have been, any other day,
Yeah,
when your mother
yeah, yeah,
hadn't
yeah,
died. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
exactly as if,
yeah.
yeah.
It is whatever it is whatever it is, right? But my point is, I don't live for other people. I go to tomorrow morning. I will get up, even if it's raining, torrential rain. I will walk the mile and a half to the gym in the rain because that's my exercise. I will go in the pool for 1 hour and then I will walk back. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make an excuse. Oh, it's raining. I don't think I'm going to go. Oh, it's raining. I think I'll get on the bus. The exercise is the 1.5 mile walk at speed, and I will do that. But I will get people say, oh, no, you shouldn't go in the rain. You might catch a cold. Be careful, this, that, the other. Right? And they're
Hmm.
packing weight. Right? So it's people who, like in the pool, I had somebody say to me the other day, oh, be careful. Don't overdo it. And this is somebody who's overweight. There's always people who are not in a position, and there's some of your listeners or your viewers might take offense at what I am saying, because, like my sister said, fat shaming and all of that. I'm just making a point. There's always people who are not in the same position as me who want to tell me how I need to proceed. Obviously, I
Hmm.
look how I look because I know what I'm doing and I'm disciplined. But if
Hmm.
you're not disciplined, why are you telling me how I need to proceed when I'm exercising?
Hmm.
So it's the same principle, taking advice from a spiritual guide who doesn't have any connection to God. There's a saying, by their fruits you know them, is passage from the Bible. I know when somebody is talking hogwash. So I come back to the thing about Ukraine. I know the media, and I know when the media is trying to push a narrative, and I'm going to have people talking nonsense to me. But I'm not going to go into that because I need to kind of wind up. But it is, again, from the Bible, for lack of knowledge my people perish. There's a lot of ignorance out there, and people are pushing their ignorance, and it's like, you must do this, you must do that, and it's like, I don't must do anything. I will do what I know is the right thing to do and live with the consequences. So, but yeah, a lot of people, oh, but I had to do this. Because you didn't have to do anything, you chose to do it. Nobody has to do anything, you choose to do it. Because the worst case scenario is you lose your life. If I don't do this, then they're going to kill me. Well, you make that choice. Are you going to stand by your principle, or are you going to die for your principle? I'm the kind of person, I will die by my principle, but I'm not going alone. I'm going to take you with me. And on
Hmm.
that note, can we wrap up? Because I've got some things that I need to do before the
Yes.
football starts.
All righty. Well, I hope you got it off your chest, and
But there you go. Like, I need to get something off my chest. I don't. I'm just taking the opportunity so people can see that here is me, having received the news today that my mother died, and I'm talking to you just like how I talked to you on the other one. And the whole point is to do with personal development. This is what happens when you develop yourself.
personal development is to be indifferent
When
to
you
your mother's
develop,
death.
no, no, when you develop yourself, you're not subject to your feelings and emotions. You can deal with the things on a practical level. You can apply your understanding, and you don't react with your feelings and emotions. It's like all these dumb idiots. I stand with Ukraine, and they can't even stand with themselves. I stand with Ukraine. In what way are you helping Ukraine? You know what I mean? It's just from one thing to another. Kneeling, Black Lives Matter. In what way are you in kneeling helping anything. You get the point?
Yes.
It's like there's nothing that you can do. In what way am I going to be here standing with opening my mouth, uttering I stand with Ukraine? How? In what way? That is the equivalent of somebody saying give your sister my love. What does that equate to? Nothing. It's just empty words. So I could be here and I can fake, oh my gosh, I'm so sad and whatever. And it's like, I'm not sad. She's gone to a better place. She has gone to a better place. And good for her. Well done.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's gone to a better place. What is there to be sad about? It's like I said to you before, like these people, they got their relatives, they're old, decrepit, don't know who they are anymore. And it's like, and I said as well with the Queen, 96 coming up, and same with Nelson Mandela, and they're praying to God to keep them alive. How long do you want these people to live for, and they're in bad health? You know what I mean? They're at death's door. They're just barely hanging on. How long do you want them to live for? Would you want them to live for themselves or for you? Hi, Cynthia. Cynthia's here.
All right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yes. Yeah. So you can't, you know, a lot of it is selfish. It's about the person. It's not about the deceased. It's about me. It's how I feel. And we got to get over that. Right? So Cynthia's here. I need to go and.
All right then.
Cynthia, say hi to the listeners.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi,
Cynthia says hi. All right, so I gotta go and assist and do what I need to do.
Okay.
And
Jay says hi in the chat to you.
oh, hi Jay. Hi everybody. All right, but I hope this is a time for reflection rather than anything else. And no, I'm not cold and heartless. It's due to my personal development where I can talk like this. All right. It's development. It's my level of understanding and development where I am able to conduct myself thus.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right then.
So I will speak to you, and I will speak to Jay, and everybody have a good night.
Good night, Liz.
All right. Look after yourselves. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.